Happy holidays. It's your favorite realtor team of New York. I'm Evan Saint-Gerard.
And Dean Graber.
We're Team NWE of Keller Williams Realty Landmark. We like to get you as much information as possible in all things related to real estate. So we want to introduce our special guest today. Peter, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everybody. My name is Peter Gordon, and I'm the president of New York Financial Organizers. We are daily money managers.
What exactly does that mean, Peter?
You beat me. I was going to say, just what is a daily money manager? Because nobody ever heard of it. So there's actually an association of American Association of Daily Money Managers. The industry's been around for about 30 years. Essentially what we do is we help people pay their bills and manage their cash flow, possibly manage their households, process insurance claims. In my case, most of our clients are elderly. And so these are people who are having issues, cognitive issues. They're not as sharp as they once were. They might forget a bill. They are certainly easy prey for the huge amount of elder care fraud out there. And so we help them manage their homes and their checking accounts and credit cards. But it actually goes a lot deeper, but that is the basic of what we do.
So how would we approach a potential client for you to refer them to you? I mean, will we be speaking to the client, the actual client, or their family members?
Well, it depends on what aspect. So if it's for a senior, it could be the client themselves, but most likely it's not. Most likely it's the
adult children,
the adult child of the individual. You know, that's who often comes to us. Actually, most of our business comes from referrals from other professionals. So we deal a lot with trust and estate attorneys, elder care attorneys, home health care agencies, something called a geriatric care manager. Those are people who deal with the medical and health related issues that the elderly have. We say that geriatric care managers do the pills, daily money managers do the bills. And so we work a lot together. And so that's where it is. But it's like anything else when you're thinking of networking. You guys are great networkers, and I've done a lot of networking in my time. And the key to networking is not to think of what is this person going to do for me. It's like, what can I do for you? And it's all about being an active listener and thinking what's right. So, you know, when I hear, well, somebody's looking for a place to live, or they're looking to buy a home or an apartment, I think of Dean and Evans, you know, or they're complaining about their rent. You know, that's the real thing, is when you hear people in pain and complain about something. So in the case where people might find our help worthwhile is when they hear somebody saying, "Oh, you know, I'm really worried about my mom. She's acting funny. Her memory's off. She's not remembering to pay her bills." But it is also larger than that. It's not simply they're not paying their bills or forgetting to do this and that. Because I'm always open to helping people find other experts in the geriatric service world. So I'm a resource. So I do a series of videos, and I call it a spoke in the wheel, because we work with these other professionals to be a spoke in the wheel that supports the individual that we're working for, whether it be a senior or maybe a wealthy individual who's just, you know, they don't have time to take care of their bills. They don't know where their money's going. We can help them with that. So it's a matter of listening and finding that out.
All right, but looking at you or referring you as a resource for everybody in, you know, the non-real estate piece of these people's financial health also, and personal, you know, to take care of stuff. That the resource part is a big thing. I was unaware of that, in a sense that I think that's going to be really helpful, for people to know that.
Yeah, let me tell you something else that might be of interest, and I think this is a good forum for that. So what we do is we help people determine how much money they have, how much is coming in, and how much they're spending, and what's left at the end of the day. we don't advise them on how to make their investments. They already have a financial advisor.
Right.
But working in tandem with their financial advisor, we get to see, we know what their assets are, and then we know how much money they're spending. So in the case of a senior who's in I have a client who has Parkinson's, and her, I'm actually her power of attorney, and her healthcare proxy is her attorney. And the attorney's wondering, well, how much money does she have, spending $12,000 a month on these services? And by looking at her income and seeing how much she's spending, we were able to determine, well, she has about 4.5 years more of being able to afford where she's living, which will work out for her. But you can apply that to the world of real estate. And what I've been told is that, when you're looking to buy a home and you get a mortgage, and let's say you have a mortgage for $750,000. The fact is, you might not be able to afford that $750,000. You don't know how much money or how much of a house you could really afford to spend on it. You're sure you get the mortgage. So we can help people determine, what's left over at the end of the month, and what the delta is between what they're currently paying and what they would pay for a new home.
Okay, well, that makes sense completely.
All right. So if someone basically was thinking they're out of state, mom is here in New York, you're the go-between person basically. So how we originally met was through a mutual client, and they were in another state, and you helped facilitate, put everything together. So walk us through the how this would work if mom is sick, she's here, or she needs to sell the house, or she passes away, whatever the situation is. Walk us through that process.
That's a great request, so, and I'll use a real life example. I like to do that, as opposed to our deal that we had, but a client that I heard from yesterday, and they became a client. I was referred by an attorney, and these people that I'll be working for live in California, but they have an aunt and a brother. So the husband's aunt and his brother, one lives in Westchester, the other lives in Brooklyn, and they both need help. So the aunt who lives in Westchester, they're the power of attorney for her, but they're looking for a backup because they're in their late 70s, and they're, it's getting harder for them. And they'd like me to pay the bills and, monitor the spending, making sure that there's no, fraud going on, which there had been in their case. And what we do is we utilize Quicken, and it's kind of the backbone of our work. So we get the username and password for their checking accounts and their credit cards, and we run all that information through Quicken. And every month we run reports, and you see how much is spent, how much is going in, where it's spent. And if we don't see something that we recognize, we call the client. We ask the client about that, and we get to see what bills are. How many people. You can't imagine how many people are paying for AOL. It's not a lot of money, but they're still paying for it, or for, or from some other service, or they're paying for Netflix 3 times a month, and when they should only be paying once a month. Very common. So we go through that, and then we're very transparent. And we all the information we have is shared with our clients, and it's all password protected. We use, in addition to Quicken, we use a program called LastPass, which saves passwords, and we are insured, fully insured with liability insurance.
Okay.
To be a member of the American Association of Daily Money Managers, you have to pass a background check. So we pass background checks. When I say we, my son works with me as well and does the same work as I do. And we have a couple other people helping us part-time. And, and then we just stay in touch. In COVID, it's kind of hard because we can't visit the client a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to start that process and go through the paperwork. So much is coming through the mail. And then we take as much as possible and have that as an automatic debit, whether it be through a checking account or a banking, a credit card.
Okay.
And then we share that information. And with Zoom, like like with this client that I just mentioned about the aunt living in Valhalla in Westchester, we're going to Zoom with the two clients in California, and we'll get all the information from them and start the process of logging in. And the first couple of months is usually more intensive than following that, but we get to see the flow of work and we know how much is going to be charged, and we charge by the hour.
Okay.
All right. It
All right.
sounds like a lot with each family though, but that's good.
What's that?
And
It sounds like there's a lot involved with each family.
there is a lot involved.
Like you almost become part of the family at that point.
To a large extent, we do, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And what's sad about the time we're living in now is that our clients really look forward to us coming and visit them. Because
Right.
very often they're in their 80s and their 90s, and they want some diversity. They don't just want to have their aides, and sometimes their children are not there.
yeah,
And we're limited now, so it's a little rough.
yeah. Well, because
But
it's
this
COVID,
too shall pass.
everything has, there's always time basically we can always adapt. With that, we're using Zoom like you mentioned. So, but you are able to, before this interview, basically you had a client that you had to go visit. Obviously you're doing everything in a safe distance. You want to make sure that they're taken care of. So, if you need to visit them, you do everything safely.
Oh, we still visit them. We wear gloves and a mask, and we make
Okay.
sure they're gloved and masked. And hasn't been a problem. I've been getting tests regularly, and so far so good.
Yeah.
It's a little, we're all concerned in our own way.
Yeah. All right. Now, question: when the client hires you, how do you get paid?
Well, we don't ask for a retainer. There's no fee for the initial consult. We kind of get a feel for the amount of work there's going to be. And like I said, it's usually 5 to 10 hours for the first month, and maybe 5 to 10 hours for the second month. And we charge hourly, depending on the needs of the client. But then what happens is we settle into routine, and because of technology, it gets a lot easier. The transactions which are flowing through are saved, and so when a new one comes in, it's automatically categorized.
Okay.
And then we bill on a monthly basis, but we don't work on retainer because we don't know what the amount of money is going to, what the amount of work is going to be.
Okay.
One of the great things by working with Quicken and categorizing everything, we have monthly reports that turn into an annual report that we give to our client's accountant. And especially when you're older and you have serious amount of medical expenses, that's generally 100% deductible.
All right.
So we actually save our clients a great deal of money.
Saving money is always important. That's important to a lot of people, obviously.
Very important, yes. Yeah, I would say we pay for ourselves more often than not.
All right.
Peace of mind,
Now, if somebody was interested in contacting you, getting more information, how can they reach you?
They could call me or email me. So my number is 917-279-3972. That's my direct cell number. My website is nyfo.nyc. That's all. nyfo.nyc. And my email is peter@nyfo.nyc. And I'd like to add, if you have any interest in the world of daily money management, for whatever reason, at whatever age, I'm always interested in talking to people about possibly becoming a daily money manager.
Okay.
It's really, I think it's a great field. It's a great field to transition into, which is what I did. This is my third career. And it's also a great field for somebody who's young, because this is the largest growing demographic, as we know, this segment of the elderly.
All right.
There's good opportunity.
All right.
Good to know. Now, question: is there something that we didn't talk about that you want to inform the audience about that they should definitely know?
No, if they're still awake, I'll let them walk away with their eyes open. I think you did a great job. I'm not surprised of asking the right questions. And I'm going to review this video and figure out how to do future ones.
All right, Peter. It's easy basically when you have a good person to interview. So I have no other questions. Well, I actually have one. Favorite baseball team?
Oh, it's the Mets.
All
Wrong
right.
answer. Wrong answer. Interview's over.
Right there.
My favorite third baseman, David Wright, right over the right shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't hate the Yankees. I used to, but after 2000 and the way they handled beating the Mets and how gracious they were in Shea Stadium, and they're a great team, and they have something happens. I'm a Met fan, but something happens when these players put on the pinstripes. I have no idea.
They become better, and when they put on the Met uniform, somehow they don't play as well as.
It's just, it's
Oh.
just not the same. We could have a whole nother, there you go. We could
I'm
have
sorry.
a whole nother video.
Could you just say that
about-
one more time? I'm not sure I heard you.
I said there is something special when a player puts on the pinstripes. And that's coming from a diehard Met fan.
All right. You know what? There's nothing else we need to say after that. I'm Evan Saint-Gerard,
I'm Dean Graber.
and we're Team NWE. We want to thank Peter for doing this interview with us. If you have any questions about real estate, whether it's buying, selling, or investing in real estate, feel free to give us a call. Dean, give them your number.
516-527-9549.
And my number is 917-975-5985. Dean, hit them with our website.
MyNYHomesales.com.
All right. And Peter, giving them your contact information one more time before we log out.
You guys are great. Website's nyfo.nyc. My email is peter@nyfo.nyc. And you could always reach me at 917-279-3972.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Peter.
Happy
All right.
holidays. Thanks, Guy. That was really
right.
great. That was a lot of fun.
Let's do the
All right.
wave.
Don't forget to
Like, share.
And subscribe.